Welcome to the Waco Air Museum, home of the 2024 Waco Fly-in, September 20th, 21st, and 22nd. You were the chief test pilot for Waco.
I flew, yeah, I worked for Waco Factory in Battle Creek, Michigan. And so, yeah, I was the test pilot. First, when the airplanes roll off the assembly line, I flew them and went through the basic flight test techniques. I didn't have to turn them upside down only once, but we did the whole flight test regime and before the airplane was released to the customer.
Okay, and you've been flying down here at Waco Field for many, many years.
Oh, yeah, when the field was built, I think my wife was the second airplane to land here. And so, yeah, I've been here forever. I ran a flight school down at Marine, down the southern, and learned to fly there. In fact, first airplane I ever bought was a Waco, and when I was 17. So I've had Wacos forever.
Okay, and last year on this very airfield, we celebrated 100 years of Waco.
The 100th year.
We are coming up on the 101st anniversary with the Waco Fly-in coming up in just a couple of weeks, the 20th through the 22nd. Right. How's it feel to be celebrating 101 here?
Well, I'm looking for 110 also, you know. So we'll see what happens. I've flown air shows since the early 60s. In fact, I took one of these airplanes, a YMF-5, to Reno, Nevada in 1964 and won fourth place in the aerobatic competition in the U.S. With the Waco. So I've been Wacos, yeah. And then my wife and I flew air shows for 30 years.
With a wing walking act.
As a wing walking act, yeah. And so the first Dayton Air Show, 50 years ago, we flew that. We were one of the acts that flew the Dayton Air Show, only 50 years.
Okay, and then you are also well known for flying the Waco taper wing, the Linco, encircling the U.S. flag as it flew into air shows.
Yeah, Biff Goodrich owned the Waco taper wing, 1936 model, that was flown in 1936. It was flown in the in the Paris Air Show, and won the aerobatic competition for the world. That airplane's here in the museum, and I flew that airplane for 10 years, various sites around the U.S. For B.F. Goodrich to demonstrate the airplane. We opened the air show normally with smoking the jumper with the American flag, and so that airplane, like I say, is here in the museum. It's a lot of history to it. Lincoln Oil Company owned it in Findlay, Ohio, and they flew pre-World War II. They flew a lot of air shows, smoke riding, advertising for Lincoln Oil Company.
Okay, and sitting right next to that, we'll look at it in a little bit, is Harold Johnson's famous Waco.
Yeah, his YMF or his UMF-3. That airplane was probably best known. We flew the Dayton or the Kings Island. We flew the Kings Island for almost 10 years. He flew that airplane. I normally flew Snoopy, the black airplane, and we had a dogfight every evening over Kings Island.
And Snoopy and the Red Baron.
Snoopy and the Red Baron. Snoopy made it most of the time. So.
Okay.
And then that airplane was also featured in WKRP in Cincinnati, the TV show.
Right.
That airplane Harold landed that airplane in downtown Cincinnati on the interstate, and they had a whole sequence on the using that airplane as their air scout. So,
I am going to have to watch that
yeah,
episode.
that is a neat episode. But
So the Waco Museum here is more than just Waco classics. We have a large part of history here.
oh yeah, starting with the Waco Cootie replica hanging in the 1921, the Waco 4 replica, which is a 1924 design, and in fact that airplane I flew 20 hours to certify that it was safe to fly. Then we put it in the museum.
In addition to that, I mean, looking around the museum, anything else that stands out in your mind as must-see?
Well, the military history of the Waco gliders is here and well represented, and but the Waco's factory up through 1941 built airplanes here in Troy, and we've got representatives of pictures at least of every airplane come out of the factory. So.
Okay, and a number of pictures of a lot of the workers who used to work here.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of history in Troy, and we try to keep on top of that history with the Waco ex-employees.
We were talking about Harold Johnson, the flying mayor of Moraine. Tell us a little bit about Harold.
Well, Harold learned to fly at Moraine and became the airport manager, and later the mayor of Moraine. So Harold is known throughout the state as the flying mayor, and did air shows with the F3 all over the state. In 1972, Governor Rhodes wanted to put an airport in every county in the state, and then when those airports were dedicated, Harold and I went in and did the dedication ceremonies. Normally, cut the ribbon, and did an air show, and so he got airports in every county but 2 in the state of Ohio, and most of those airports are still in existence.
And Snoopy and the Red Baron were on hand for the first air show.
Yeah, we tried to. In fact, Harold and I were representing the state, and we were rewarded $1 a year payment. We were $1 a year men for the state of Ohio.
We are in the Willis Wing at Waco, and we are standing in front of Harold Johnson's 1934 UMF-3 that was famously known around the Kings Island area back in the 70s as part of the Snoopy and the Red Baron act that happened every night with Harold Johnson, the pilot of this aircraft, and Bob Wagner, who flew Snoopy. And the two of them would put on an air show every evening at Kings Island. And then they were also very well known both for their air show acts. In the case of Harold Johnson, the flying mayor of Moraine, he flew the Dayton Air Show for many years. And the thing that I know most people remember a lot about him was the finale of his act. He would taxi up to the flight line, face the crowd, turn on the smoke, tap the brakes, and take a bow with the aircraft. And it was just such a fantastic ending to a great air show put on by a very entertaining man. That aircraft had been donated by Harold's family to Waco and is now part of our permanent display here at the museum. This aircraft is the famous Waco taper wing known as the Linko. It was very well known around the country as it was built in 1929, had a storied career, flew in the Paris Air Show back in the 1930s, and then came home, and it ended up being used in a number of air shows and was flown by a number of famous pilots, among them the Bob Wagner, who we just spoke with. who used to use this aircraft to open air shows, including the air show up at Oshkosh every year and the Dayton Air Show right here in the Miami Valley. Join us at historic Waco Field on September the 20th through the 22nd, where gates open all 3 days, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., and learn what it was like to fly in the barnstorming days of the 1920s and 30s. Come join us on the 20th through the 22nd of September for the 101st anniversary Waco Fly-in, where we will have, in addition to the real airplanes on the ground, this fleet of junior aircraft that the kids can pedal around and be pilots for a day. Waco Fly-in would be complete without Waco rides. You can come out all weekend, Friday, Saturday, or Sunday, and schedule your ride in a Waco. New this year, on Sunday only, will be the opportunity to take a ride in a helicopter and get to see Troy from a bird's eye view from a two-seat helicopter. Other activities that you will be able to find at the Waco Fly-in September 20th through the 22nd will include First Responders Day on Sunday, food trucks all weekend, and on Sunday afternoon, the Miami County FOP will be on site grilling hot dogs. You will also have, for kids, the opportunity to touch a truck, come out and climb on board the fire engines and learn more about what our first responders do. In addition to the many outdoor activities, make sure to come indoors, take a tour of the museum, and visit our gift shop. We look forward to seeing everyone at the Waco Fly-in this September 20th, 21st, and 22nd. Come join us.